Hello. In this video, we're going to see how we can take an existing a paper form, such as in this case, a workers' compensation form, and transform it into a digital form using our Alpha Transform application. So here's the Transform application shown on an Android 10-inch tablet. And on launching the application, we log into our account. And we see a list of the various forms that we have created using a visual tool in our account. You can create any number of different forms simultaneously inside an account. In this case, we've got this workers' compensation form. So we tap on it to start a new blank form, a blank copy of the form. And here we see the layout of the form as we've recreated it on the tablet. Now, one immediate difference that is obvious is that instead of having all of the sections listed on the same page, which obviously on a mobile device would not be practical, we've separated the various sections in pages. So all of the individual A, B, C, D, and notices sections have been split out separately here, and only the top part here, the basic information, has been retained. So to fill in this form, we have created a set of fields matching what exists here in the original form. And this being a digital device, depending on the type of field that we have, we get a relevant input method when picking that field. So for example, when we're entering the names, obviously here we get a normal keyboard. But when we go, for example, to the date of injury, then here, obviously, we get a time picker, date time picker, which we can move to today. So in moving to the various sections, for example, moving into the identifying information section, again, we see the fields as they're created here. Some items are button lists, like they show here, dates we've seen before. Phone numbers are now bring up a numeric keypad because that is the format that is expected. Address, city, state, we have configured to be a list of states, so we don't need to type in things. And we continue to fill in this form in this method. Now, based on the original form, there's an exact copy of all of the fields here. So income benefits, here's section 2 with the labels and the instructions. Notices here for benefits, not paid, and a medical only, including a signature field, which brings up a normal signature field to be filled in. And the notices here at the end, mirroring what is shown here on the second page of the original form. Now, having a digital device, there are some advancements and some improvements we can do to this existing form. One is we can add images and annotation. So for example, in the section where we are describing the illness or the injury, so type of injury and body part affected, so this is now in section A. Going to section A, we have added an image capture capability, and one where we are predefining a diagram on which we can annotate. So we pick our annotation tool here, and we can pick our marker size and our color, and we can zoom the image in, and we can mark the area that is affected. So the image that will be included is the annotated one. For the fields that are listed here, again, some of these are just text fields that we can enter information. Some are drop-down fields. For example, initial treatment given here brings up a list of choices as shown in the original form here. Now, another improvement that we can make is the following. The information about the person filling in the form, for example, is based on a manual entry, as we saw. But assuming that there is a data repository at some location which contains a list of reference data, for example, social security numbers and the corresponding information for that person, then instead of needing to fill in birth date and email and address, city, state, zip manually, like we started to do here, and gender, we can create a lookup. So this lookup, when we tap this field, it does a live check against that endpoint, and I've created just some sample data here. So for example, let's pick Claudia Haynes. So now the lookup brought back information about this employee and has filled in this top level data here. But also if I go inside here, you'll see now that it has also filled in the rest of the information. So that's an improvement that we can make to a normal paper form filled in manually, because assuming a data repository exists, we can access that using a reference and lookup data and bring back the results of those lookups. Now, as this form is completed, as we have here, let's also add an employer name. So let's say when we exit the form and are out in the form listing section, here we see a copy of the form that we've been filling in. Everything that we fill in is automatically saved onto the device locally, and then it can be, assuming a network is available, it can be uploaded back to the backend and available for retrieval and reporting. The application works completely offline, so even if we don't have a network connection, we can continue to fill in as many forms as we like, and then just with one tap, upload everything up to the server. Now, if we need to fill in the information for a second employee, we go again to our forms list. We open up another blank copy, fresh copy of the form. We do our lookup again. Let's say this time it's Michael Jarvis. So now this has filled in a second set of data from the lookup corresponding to this employee. Let's also add another employee name. Now, when we exit this form also, now we see our two forms have been filled in for two different employees, and again, pending to be uploaded to the backend. So once I tap this button here, then the uploading mechanism starts. Everything is synced with the backend. The forms can either remain on the device, like we've set up here, or they can be shown to be removed when we set, for example, a status of completed or done. Now, one advantage that we also have to be able to do this is not only have we created these forms matching the original ones, but these forms are also very easy to update and modify. So if we go back to our visual building tool, the tool that we used from our Transform portal to build this application, this form, here is our form. Here are all the fields that we added from a rich set of data fields. And here's the preview of how the form looks on mobile. But let's say we would like to make an update. So if we go back to our paper form, our printed form, we would see that, for example, there is a field that says nature of business, and it has some options here. Whereas here in the nature of business field that we defined in our form, we've left just a normal text field. So if we would like to update this and distribute that update to all of the mobile devices, then this is a very quick process. So we go to the field that we would like to edit, or we could also add obviously any additional fields if we would like, but let's make a modification here. And we change the form from text to list. And here in the list items, we provide, in this case, it would like a static list of the various options here. So trade, transport, manufacturing, and allow the option to add any custom ones if someone would like. So we save the data. Now this is saved to the back end, so that's available centrally. So back in our application now, when I go to my form section and I do a refresh, and this also happens automatically whenever we log into the system, then this form has now been updated on the fly from that central definition. So even if we go back to the existing forms, or even if we open up a new form, and we go to that section where it says nature of business, now we'll see that if we click on it, now we see the options that we had created in our visual environment, in our portal. We see these options now having been transferred almost immediately down to the mobile app. So all in all, a very quick way to digitize the original form that we had, and also to add additional capabilities to that form to be able to retrieve data remotely or to add additional rich fields to this form. Thank you.